Picture this. You're standing in the middle of chaos. Your boss just criticized you in front of the team. Your inbox is flooded with demands, and that nagging voice in your head won't stop reminding you of everything you haven't accomplished yet. Sound familiar? What if I told you there's a way to silence the noise, take back control, and face life's storms without breaking a sweat? Today, we're diving deep into one of Stoicism's most powerful teachings. Act as if nothing bothers you. It's not about pretending, it's about mastering yourself so completely that no external force can shake you. If you're ready to transform how you respond to life's challenges and unlock unshakable inner strength, hit subscribe now and stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to rise above anything life throws at you. 1. Why acting as if nothing bothers you is a superpower. Let's talk about pain, the kind that cuts deep. Maybe it's rejection at work, betrayal from someone close, or even the gnawing anxiety of financial uncertainty. Whatever form it takes, pain has a way of consuming us unless we learn to rise above it. Here's where Epictetus steps in with wisdom sharper than any sword. The more you reveal your pain, the more people may want to hurt you. Think about it. Have you ever shared something vulnerable only for others to twist it against you? Sadism and envy are real. They thrive when they see weakness. But here's the good news. We don't have to let them win. Picture yourself as a tree in a storm. The leaves flutter, the branches sway, but the trunk remains unmoved because its roots run deep. That's who we strive to become. When we act as if nothing bothers us, we aren't denying reality. We're choosing not to let external forces dictate our internal state. Modern psychologist Albert Ellis, founder of rational emotive behavior therapy, echoed this idea centuries later, saying that emotional distress often stems from how we interpret events, not the events themselves. Take Steve Jobs, for example. Fired from Apple, the company he co-founded, he didn't crumble. Instead, he acted as if nothing bothered him and went on to create Next, which eventually led to his triumphant return. He understood that setbacks aren't failures, they're opportunities to grow stronger. So next time life throws a punch, ask yourself, am I going to react out of fear, or am I going to respond with calm resolve? 2. Mastering your reactions forges your destiny. Now let's get personal. How many times have you reacted impulsively to criticism, stress, or disappointment? Maybe you snapped at a coworker during a tense meeting or lashed out at a loved one after a rough day. Sound familiar? These moments remind us that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. And according to Epictetus, our reactions forge our destiny. Consider Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Imagine leading an empire plagued by war, disease, and political intrigue. Yet despite all this, he remained steadfast, writing in his journal, Meditations, about the importance of controlling one's thoughts. He believed that every challenge was a chance to practice virtue. For instance, when faced with betrayal, he didn't retaliate, he reflected. He asked himself, what does this teach me? We too can adopt this mindset. Let's say you lose your job unexpectedly. Instead of spiraling into despair, channel that energy into starting the business you've always dreamed of. Or perhaps a friend says something hurtful. Rather than retaliating, pause and consider whether their words hold any truth. In both cases, acting as if nothing bothers you doesn't mean ignoring reality, it means refusing to let negativity define you. Remember, we're architects of our lives. Every reaction shapes the structure of our future. Will yours be built on resilience or regret? 3. Overcoming destructive emotions through simplicity. In today's fast-paced world, simplicity is revolutionary. Look around. You're bombarded with ads promising happiness through material wealth, bigger houses, fancier cars, endless gadgets. But here's the catch. Wealth doesn't sustain itself. It demands constant effort. Bills pile up, loans loom over you, and suddenly you're trapped in a cycle of stress. Epictetus would tell you to break free. He championed frugality, urging us to live simply and focus on what truly matters. Think about Henry David Thoreau, who retreated to Walden Pond to live deliberately. He stripped away distractions, focusing solely on nature, thought, and self-discovery. His experiment proved that less really is more. Similarly, modern minimalist Joshua Becker argues that decluttering our lives allows space for meaningful relationships and pursuits. When you simplify, you stop being controlled by possessions and start living authentically. This ties directly back to acting as if nothing bothers you. When you embrace simplicity, you reduce external pressures, making it easier to maintain inner calm. For example, imagine turning off social media notifications. Suddenly, you're no longer comparing yourself to others or obsessing over likes. You've taken back control. So ask yourself, what can I remove from my life to make room for serenity? Because true freedom lies in owning less and experiencing more. 4. Friendship over fortune, the true wealth of connection. Let's talk about something many of us take for granted: relationships. In a world obsessed with material wealth, it's easy to forget that true riches lie in the bonds we forge with others. Epictetus reminds us, friendship is above wealth. Think about it. When life gets tough, when your business fails, when health declines, or when loneliness creeps in, it's not your bank account that comforts you. It's the people who stand by your side. Consider this scenario. You lose everything: your house, your car, your savings, all gone overnight. Who shows up? Is it the colleague who always seemed friendly but disappeared when times got hard? Or is it that old friend from college, the one you haven't seen in years, who suddenly appears at your door with groceries and a listening ear? Genuine friendships are like anchors. They keep us grounded when storms rage around us. But here's the catch. Building real connections requires effort. It means prioritizing quality over quantity, depth over superficiality. Modern psychologist Dr. Robert Waldinger, director of the Harvard Study of Adult Development, found that close relationships are the single biggest predictor of happiness and longevity. People with strong social ties live longer, healthier lives. So instead of chasing fleeting pleasures, invest in meaningful relationships. Be the kind of person others can count on. And remember, as Epictetus taught, true friends don't care about your possessions, they care about you. 5. Extracting benefit from every situation, turning adversity into advantage. Life throws curveballs. Sometimes they hit us square in the face. But here's the Stoic secret. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity. As Epictetus said, always extract the benefit from things. This isn't just optimism, it's a mindset shift. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can I learn? Take J.K. Rowling, for example. Before becoming one of the most successful authors in history, she faced rejection after rejection. Publishers dismissed her manuscript for Harry Potter, calling it too long and unmarketable. Did she give up? She used those rejections as fuel to refine her craft. Today, her books have sold over 500 million copies worldwide. That's the power of extracting benefit from adversity. Now let's bring this closer to home. Imagine you're passed over for a promotion at work. At first it stings. You feel undervalued, overlooked. But then you pause and reflect. What skills could you improve? Could this be the push you need to pursue further education or explore new career paths? By reframing the situation, you turn disappointment into growth. This principle applies everywhere. Stuck in traffic? Use the time to listen to an audiobook or podcast. Lost a loved one? Honor their memory by living the values they instilled in you. The point is, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Each moment is a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So next time life hands you lemons, don't just make lemonade. Ask yourself, how can I use this to become unstoppable? 6. The power of humility, learning through ignorance. Humility is often misunderstood as weakness, but in Stoicism, it's a cornerstone of growth. Epictetus reminds us, if you really want to learn something, it is essential that a person learns what they believe they already know. Think about the last time you entered a conversation convinced you were right. Did you truly listen, or were you just waiting for your turn to speak? True wisdom begins when we admit we don't know everything. Imagine starting a new job. You might feel tempted to prove yourself by offering solutions immediately. But what if instead you approach the role with curiosity? Ask questions, observe, and absorb. By doing so, you not only gain deeper insights but also earn respect from colleagues who see your willingness to grow. This principle applies beyond careers. It shapes how we interact with life itself. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His humility allowed him to embrace failure as part of the process, leading to groundbreaking inventions like the light bulb. Similarly, modern psychologist Carol Dweck emphasizes the importance of a growth mindset, where challenges are seen as opportunities rather than threats. When we adopt humility, we open ourselves to endless possibilities. So the next time you're faced with something unfamiliar, resist the urge to pretend you understand. Instead say, "Teach me." That's where real progress begins. 7. Guilt is a plague. Break free from self-blame. Guilt is a silent killer. It creeps into our minds, whispering lies about our worth and keeping us trapped in cycles of self-blame. Epictetus calls guilt synonymous with plague, and he's right. Whether we blame others or ourselves, guilt distracts us from the real task, fixing the problem. Consider this scenario. You miss an important deadline at work. Your first instinct might be to lash out at coworkers or berate yourself endlessly, but neither reaction solves the issue. Instead, take a step back. Acknowledge the mistake without attaching shame to it, then focus on finding a solution. Modern therapy aligns closely with this idea. Cognitive behavioral therapists encourage patients to reframe negative thoughts and take actionable steps toward improvement. Let's look at Oprah Winfrey's story. Early in her career, she was fired from a television anchor position because producers deemed her unfit for TV. Rather than wallowing in guilt or resentment, she used the experience as fuel to reinvent herself. Today, she's one of the most influential figures in media history. Her secret? Refusing to let guilt define her. We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. But carrying guilt doesn't serve us. Instead, channel that energy into growth. Remember, guilt is optional. Choose accountability instead. As Epictetus teaches, only those driven by determination can overcome guilt and still take responsibility for their actions. So ask yourself, am I holding on to guilt or am I ready to move forward? We've covered a lot today, from mastering reactions to embracing simplicity, but remember, Stoicism isn't just theory, it's a practice. And the best way to internalize these lessons is to share them. Comment below with your thoughts. What resonated with you? How do you plan to apply these principles in your own life? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video. Together, let's build a community rooted in wisdom, resilience, and growth. See you soon.